Today I'm going to show you how you can paste schematics with the WorldEdit API. So for example like this. So the first thing we need to do is to add our dependencies. We need the WorldEdit core dependency and the bucket dependency and the repository, of course. And then we need somewhere to execute the code for pasting a schematic. In this case, I will just use a command. So create a new commands package with house command, for example, because I'm going to use a house schematic. Then the usual stuff. So implement command executor, the method, then return true. And check if the sender is not a player. And if that's the case, we're going to send a message. Only players can execute this command and return. And then get your schematics file. In my case, it's a .schem file, and copy it over to the resources directory. Click yes, refactor, and in the main class, create an onload block to save the schematic file to the plugin directory with save resource, then the name, and false, because we don't want to replace the file if it already exists. Then we create a reference to the file, so final file. File is equal to new file. And we need to get the plugin directory, so create reference to your plugin class like this and a constructor for that. And then inside here the path of the file will be in the data folder and the name is house.schem. Since there are many formats for schematic files, we need to first determine the format. But we don't have to do that manually. We have a helper function for that provided by the WorldEdit API. And you can get the format like this. Clipboard format. Format is equal to clipboard formats dot find by file. And here we pass our file. And now we can read the format with clipboard reader is equal to format.getReader. And we need to pass a new file input stream of the file. And this can throw an error, so you can wrap it in a try-catch block. And if you look closer at the clipboard reader, you can see that it extends closable. And this means when you are done with the reader, you need to close it with reader.close. But since it also extends auto-closable, you can just use a try with resources block and paste it here. And then the reader will be automatically closed. And now we can finally read the clipboard. So final clipboard is equal to reader.read. The next step is to define the operation we want to do. In this case, we want to paste a schematic. So final operation, make sure that you import the right one. Let's call it paste operation, and this is equal to new clipboard holder, pass clipboard, and then we want to create a paste, and we need an edit session for that. Edit session extends auto-closable as well, so we can define it behind clipboard reader. So make a semicolon and then enter for a new line and type final edit session, and this will be equal to world edit get instance and new edit session. And you can see we need to pass a world, but this is not a bucket world, but a WorldEdit world. So let's pass it and create it here. First we're going to get the location of the player get location, and then from that we're going to get the world, but not this one. And this will be bucket adapter.adapt location.get world. Now we can continue with the operation, pass the edit session, then .to specify the position where we want to paste it. And this will be, as you can see, a block vector 3. And we can simply convert a bucket location object to a block vector 3 by calling block vector 3.add and then pass the coordinates of the location. So location get block X, location get block Y, and location get block Z, and then build. Now we can execute this operation by calling operations.complete and pass the paste operation. This throws an error as well, so we need to extend the catch clauses, and this is already it. Now we can send the player a message in green color, for example. The schematic has been pasted, and let's also include the time it took in placeholder milliseconds and format that to replace the placeholder with the time that it took. But first we need to calculate that. So up here before the pasting operation, we're going to create a variable to track the starting time. Final long start, this is equal to system current time millis. And then in here, we're just going to subtract that from the new current time. So system current time millis minus start. Then go to the plugin.yml, register the command, house, and into the main plugin class. Inside the onEnable method, get the command and set the executor to new house command and pass this in. Now we can go to the server and see if it works. /house, and the house has been pasted in about a second. Let's try that again. And as you can see, this is not pretty long, but too long for my opinion. The first one took about a second and then the other one's around 200 milliseconds. And we can actually improve that. At the moment, on every command execution, we load the schematic file again, and this takes a lot of time. So what we can do is we can actually do the loading of the schematic only once when the server starts, and then when we execute the command, we can paste the schematic that we loaded on server startup, and this will be a bit quicker. So let's create a new class for that, schematic manager, and inside here we're going to create a method, paste house. We need a location, and then inside here we can just copy and paste the code. So let's copy the try catch block first and paste it here. And we also create a private method to load the house schematic and copy that inside of there as well. And to load a schematic, we don't need the edit session and we don't need the operation, but we do need the file and the clipboard format. So cut them from here and paste them inside the load method. Then you can see we need a reference to a plugin as well. So let's create it. Private final schematic plugin, and the constructor. And from here we can remove the WorldEdit exception. It's no longer thrown because we don't use the edit session in this method. And then from here we don't need the reader because we already loaded the schematic in this method. We don't need the clipboard, but we do need the world. So let's get it from the command class from here, then paste it in the paste house method. And now as you can see, we still need access to the clipboard, but at the moment it's a method scoped, so it's only valid in this method. So let's make it global for this class, private clipboard, and then inside here we just say this.clipboard is equal to reader, and then we can access the clipboard here, and from here we can remove the IO exception. Then inside the house command we can remove this, and then we need to access the paste house method from the schematic manager. So let's create a reference. We don't need the plugin reference anymore. Schematic manager, create a new constructor, and then call manager paste house at the location. Inside the main plugin class, we need to pass a manager into the house command and not a plugin anymore. Let's create a manager. Schematic manager is equal to new schematic manager. And here we need to pass a plugin. And now inside the constructor, we need to call the load method, and then we can also print something to the console. Get logger.info loaded schematic. Here you can see the schematic has been loaded, and now we can see if performance has improved. House, and if you remember, the first try on the other method took about 1 second, and now it's about 70% faster. And if we do it again and again, and you can see it's only getting quicker from here.